Hey, Ael. In your life, you failed more times than you can count. In fact, sometimes it feels like failure is the only certainty in an otherwise unpredictable world. There are times in our lives when we seem to fail almost constantly. Worse yet, these times often come when we need success the most. It's really easy to sit back and just blame ourselves. But in the words of the late great Robin Williams, it's not your fault, Ael. It's not your fault. Except maybe that one. That one is your fault. The next topic in this journal entry is going to be new beginnings. And before we get there, it's kind of cyclical because today we do have a bit of a new beginning. Last episode, we left our kind of starting area that we had where we set up base and we had all those cows and we had a sugarcane farm. Just because we didn't, well, at least I didn't really like it that much, right? There was nothing wrong with it objectively, but it just wasn't somewhere that I was in love with. So we set out, we found this new place, and now it's time to kind of start building this new base. So what we're going to be doing, and I kind of alluded to this last episode, was that Etho was a big inspiration. And you're going to see a little bit of that here with all the stone brick and oak wood, but we're going to start our kind of starter base at least in this cave by this water here. And we're going to try kind of keep the natural formation of the cave a little bit, and we'll see where it goes from here. I'm not quite sure if we'll build the archive here or not yet, but we'll see. So yeah, new beginnings. That's going to be the next kind of journal entry in this episode, and yeah, we have a new beginning here ourselves. So just nice little kind of segue. And before we do start building, we do need to start kind of clearing out some of the rubbish in this cave, and it's a little bit messy just right now, and I struggled a little bit at first trying to figure out where the entrance would even be in this cave, but essentially what we're doing right now is we're just going along the sides of this build, and we're just kind of clearing it out so it's a little bit smoother, and trying to keep that natural formation of the cave, but once again, just trying to smooth it out. I'll speed this part up just a little bit, just because there's nothing really interesting to see here. I won't do it quite as fast as I have in past episodes, because I find when I go back and watch them, they're a little bit jarring. So I'll speed it up just a little bit so that we don't have to spend too long just watching me clear at a cave. Journal entry number 2, the reality of beginnings. Whenever new opportunities come our way, we get excited, and others are excited for us as well. When we start a new Minecraft world, we're quick to become intoxicated on the dreams of the monoliths we aspire to build. Life is no different. When I got offered my teaching position, I dreamt of all the lives I would help and change. I dreamt of the field trips that I would spearhead, and I dreamt of the impact I would leave on the world. All of this was a monolith, all to itself. What hit me like a truck was that, just like in a new Minecraft world, I'd only just begun to collect the resources to even start to build this dream. Worse yet, just like any of my Minecraft builds in the past, well, it would never quite look like how I imagined it would in my head. Beginnings are slow. Oftentimes, we need to spend a lot of our time doing the small things at first, like punching down that first tree. The difference between the real world and Minecraft is that we don't view that first tree as a failure, or hardly even a slog. Rather, just as part of the process. In Minecraft, we go into new worlds, knowing that the first handful of days will be the slowest, that the first nights will be the scariest. But for some reason, in the real world, we start to feel like a failure when we see those same telltale signs of progress. Things starting slow translates into, I'm going nowhere. Could I ever catch up? Gathering your resources becomes overshadowed with dread over your unaccomplished goals. We only start to feel good about ourselves when we have a finished project to look at, by which time we've spent too much of our time burdened by the risk of failure. So I'm not quite sure if this will actually one day become the archive, this cave here. Right now, this is really just kind of a starting base. It might eventually evolve into some part of the archive. Might even become like an entrance or something. We might do like a little secret entrance into the actual archive itself. It'll be deeper underground or something like that. I'm really not quite sure what I want yet from this, other than just we need somewhere to stay and kind of store our stuff while we do make a better plan about what the archive will actually look like. So that's what this base is really meant to be. It's nothing permanent as of now. It might have become something more permanent, like I said, but right now we really just need somewhere to stay. Kind of like I said in New Beginnings, it's hard to kind of collect yourself and collect your thoughts and feel stable when you really have nowhere to source that stability from. So this is going to be kind of that foundation, just so that we can start to build a little bit of consistency, have somebody somewhere to store all our stuff where when we come up with a better plan to actually carry out this archive. But that's kind of what this build right here resembles. Journal entry number 3, when we are at our weakest. What nobody tells us is all the things that we get the most excited for are the same moments that we feel at our weakest. Things like marriage, starting a family, starting a career, or starting a project share one common thing: possibility. We live all our lives knowing that with every good possibility we hope for, there's an equally bad one out there that's completely possible as well. I do think there's this kind of unique relationship between Minecraft and real life, where a lot of the things we see in real life, we see in Minecraft as well, but we see them in a completely different lens, right? When we start a new Minecraft world, we're kind of just excited, and we expect kind of everything to be hard and slow at first. Um, and it's the same way in real life, as I said before, but it is interesting that, that when we gamify something or gamify or however you say it, all the things that are burdenous in life become just kind of enjoyable. It becomes part of the experience in a way that we don't recognize it in real life. And it's just super interesting to me, right? Like, if I had to build my own house in this cave in real life, I would feel pretty stressed out. I would feel, um, I would dread the night coming, right? It would be super stressful. But in Minecraft, it's completely different, and it's interesting. Now, obviously, in real life, your real livelihood is at stake, right? When you're trying to make shelter or something, when you're stranded out in the wilderness or something like that, right? Your livelihood and your well-being is at stake in a way that it's not in Minecraft, right? So that's part of why it's more enjoyable in Minecraft than it is in real life. But it's still just kind of an interesting contrast, right, to see. And if we think about kind of the abstractness of our struggles in life and our feelings of kind of worthlessness or stress, and we apply them to a game like Minecraft, we see that they disappear pretty fast. And if we can take the things that maybe aren't as pressing and try approach them from that frame of mind, then who knows what kind of impact that can have on a person. Journal entry number 4, my own personal latest possibility. So, Ael, what makes me think of all of this? Well, it's nothing big, really. It's something relatively small. Relatively recently, I've been designing a new program to use in my ELA class. It pairs reading comprehension with grammar, vocabulary, and morphology, all tied to a weekly short story. Um, to anybody who's not a teacher out there, perhaps you just got bored out of your mind right there and you have no clue what any of that really means. But for me, it is pretty exciting to have my own project, my own product to bring to class that I'm passionate about. Growing up, I loved to read. It was one of the few things in the world that kind of brought me solace and that just transported me to new worlds. And it's something that ever since I started teaching, I wanted to help other kids get immersed in those same worlds and realize that this is an avenue as well, right? That you can take that can make you feel good about yourself and everything like that. So it's exciting just for that fact that it's something that I'm passionate about and something that I'm putting out there to try help my students become their best selves. And not only that, but it should also make assessment a whole lot easier because of the way that I planned it to be in a portfolio and everything like that. I just take it in once a month and then, just check for completion as well as some performance. And it should make things a lot more sustainable for me as well as for students. But to create all these resources is it's incredibly onerous. And it would suck to see all these hours that I've poured into it go to waste. It's been 2 weeks of constant development, just compiling all these short stories, making the resources for them, looking at the morphological breakdown of the words and all of that. It's been a long process. I've also just started this YouTube project, right? And even though I'm doing it for me to see my own growth and development as the years go by and to see it all encapsulated in the Minecraft world, there's some part of me that worries it'll never surmount to anything, which it's funny because I went into it thinking, so what if 10 years down the line, you're still the only person watching? But seeing others watch and like and subscribe has changed that just a little bit. It's super silly, and I recognize that because I recognize it's um because I recognize it, it's something that I'll push against, right? Because at the end of the day, this project is mostly for me, and that's how it's going to remain, no matter how many years go by. But there is this part of me that would like to see it succeed as well. It'd just be neat. It'd be cool. Now, quick kind of break in the journal commentary right here. I'm building a new kind of mine shaft in, I think it was the previous episode. I built one that went all the way down to bedrock in my old place, and then, or maybe it was the episode before, because last episode I was kind of just journeying out. But anyways, I need new mine shaft, right? We're starting over, which means I kind of left all my diamonds behind, and I could go back, but it's a long walk, it's a long journey, so I'd rather just set something up here that I can use. And that's what this is going to be. It's going to be our mine shaft that we can use for mining. Just the things that you have to do when you start all over again, right? Things that you take for granted when you get a little bit further along. You just take for granted that you dug down this deep before. I'll do most of that off camera because it's no point really in seeing me dig all the way down again. So Ael, listen to me. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you are where you are in life. You just happened to spawn in while you did. It's not your fault that things are harder right now. It's just part of the process. And to anybody watching who thinks that they're a failure, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Success is nothing more than the accumulation of failures. The only factor in deciding whether or not you're a failure is your own willingness to submit to it. I do hope that this episode has been helpful to anyone really listening, and I do think that there's something almost symbolic about, us recently leaving our old place and starting over fresh and kind of having to go through all those tedious parts of the early game all over again. So, thanks for joining, and I'll see you all next episode, whenever that does come out.